Hi, I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome. This is my little world, my little page. It's not my world, but it's where I do business. One of the things we're looking at is tonight, big news announcement. I get out of Facebook jail because I've been a better boy. The censors at Facebook are going to let me do lives again. We've been on Facebook, but we couldn't do lives for like 59 days, and they cut it down to 30. They started missing the money we were paying them, which we're not anymore. We're not going to pay them to boost anything anymore. And they'll let me do lives at 9 o'clock tonight, which I will not be doing. That'll happen tomorrow. But we're changing the way we're doing business too. Where if you want to find the best stuff, all of our stuff, uncensored, you can go to YouTube. It's at Rick Dancer TV. Or you can go to my website, rickdancer.com, and everything's on there as well. It'll also post on Spotify, Rumble. Those will be uncensored. Facebook, we're gonna use less and less. It's also on Instagram, but we're using Facebook less and less. So the shows will still be on there if they're, we deem them to be safe. In other words, you can't have any controversy in them. If they are more controversial, then we'll just put a little blip on Facebook and send you over to the real world. If Facebook wants to be the Disney World of the social media world, then that's what they can be, but they're not gonna get any money from me. Here's what's coming up this week. So Tuesday night, we're gonna be doing a show with Tim and May, the doctors, with BS Free MD Podcasting. They let me go on with them and ask their guests questions, and then they continue. So you can find the whole episode over there. But we're talking to this expert who writes articles and researches big pharma, the commercials, the intertwining of big pharma money with organizations like the government and Congress and the companies that they're selling drugs to, and doctors, and it'll blow your mind. It'll irritate you, but you really need to know for your own health's sake. It's a fascinating, you will love it. That's Tuesday night, 5 o'clock West Coast time, 6 o'clock Mountain time. Then on Wednesday, it's all about energy. Eugene, Oregon has this crazy idea, the city councilors, that 5 of the 3 anyway, that you can ban the use of natural gas in new construction. Then they even went as far as to say that the city voters can't vote on it. So the city voters are going to the people. They've gathered double the signatures they need in 2 weeks to put this on a ballot. We're going to talk with one of the city council members who's opposed to this on Wednesday night. Then we also have another great part of that show, where also, as long as we're talking about energy, Kathy and I recently got a tour inside the Canyon Ferry Dam. So we're in the dam to show you how it works, show you the pieces, show you how, what it's for, what the priorities are, and talk to them a little bit about wind and solar and why they aren't consistent enough to base a grid on. So we're gonna do that on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're gonna go to rural Oregon, a little town in Brownsville, where they were getting sick of the council not representing the community, in their opinion. So they elected new people, got rid of some of the people that were bringing in some of the new ideas that didn't really flush with people, because the voters decided, got them out, got the new people in. So we're going to show you how it's done, show you that you can restore your voice in a community when you need to. And I think you're going to see a lot more of that in the coming years with school boards, with city councils, county commission seats. All that is, I think people are tired of their voice not being heard. So on one of the interviews I was talking with today, Randy Groves at the city council in Eugene, he used to be the fire chief for the area. And he was talking about when you train, folks who go into emergency situations, you have 2 sections of your brain. Back here is like fight or flight, and up here is where you're thoughtful and thinking. He says, when you first get into an emergency, what they train their officers, their firefighters and paramedics with, is you can't be back here. You have to bring your mental processes to the front of your brain. So that way you're calm, you're thinking clearly, you're making rational decisions, not making decisions from the back of your head where it's fight or flight, adrenaline, and, you know. So we were talking and I was going, God, this is like what COVID was. When COVID came, it seems to me leaders used the opportunity to put that conversation in the back of our heads, in the fear base, and people just went nuts. It was, I'm gonna die, everything's gonna go to hell, oh my God. Rather than calming down, not being fearful, and coming up in the front of your brain and start thinking rational, critical thinking. Okay, so here's where we took this. Imagine if you could do that in an everyday conversation. Like with people, like if we could get Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives, progressives and thinking people, and you put them in a room together and you said, you can't fear that you're gonna lose your position. You can't fear that your ego is gonna get bruised. You can't fear that the world's gonna fall apart. You can't fear that climate change is gonna destroy everything in America. You can't fear Donald Trump. Oh, there's a big one. You can't fear the Republicans. You can't fear the Democrats. You have to come into a room with unlike thinking people and come up with a plan and use the front of your brain. Randy, I think it revolutionizes something for me. It's like, that's where we need to be. They want us to think back here. They want us to react. They want us to give up, get so scared that we just give in or give up. I'm not doing that, and I don't think you are either. We're gonna bring that conversation up here. It doesn't mean we don't push people. It doesn't mean we're perfect. It doesn't mean we don't get antagonized by people. And it doesn't mean sometimes we spout off. But what we're gonna try to do is bring that conversation up here and work together to come up with some solutions. I think that's where we have to go. I mean, I don't think it's gonna work. And here's the deal. If others don't wanna come along, then we're just gonna push forward. Because I'm not gonna sit here and be controlled by people any longer. Our voices belong in the conversation just as much as anybody else's. And when you've been ignored for as long as we have, you gotta push, and you're gonna have to push hard. So we don't have a show tonight. Our shows are gonna be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we should thank our sponsors, Chris Dental Family Dentistry, where everybody's welcome. Michael's a huge inspiration, a good guy, and he's an awesome dentist. Albert Taylor, Endless Possibilities, where they believe that everybody matters and everybody deserves to have a good life. New Leaf Hyperbarics and Wellness Center, Matt McCarl, where he believes the same thing, freedom of speech and freedom of treatment. Big on hyperbarics, big on light therapy, all that. My wife and I are talking today. Notice how all the alternative therapies get ignored by the medical community? Yeah, because they want you to take drugs. Montana Oral Surgery and Dental Implant Centers, another great sponsor here in Montana, where they do extractions, dental implants. I can't wait to get into their place and see how those dental implants work, because it's pretty fascinating. Fairway Independent Mortgage, Greg Hinkle, good friend of mine here in Montana, does mortgages. His whole idea is to create family wealth through the investments of real estate. So he can help you, whether you're in Oregon, Washington, or Montana, he can help you do that. Douglas Timber Operators, they're a once a month client, great people down there, loggers working to help Oregon. Douglas County, do you know it's like one of the most timber producing counties in the entire country? Yeah, people in Montana know about Douglas County. And then JDEV Investments, a couple of Jim St. James and also Michael Basaraba, or Daniel Basaraba, own a company, and they restore buildings, they make communities better. So those are our sponsors, and that's why we can do what we do. All right, I pulled out of my garage this morning, tried to lift up the door, and the rubber on the bottom, it was frozen to the snow, and so it pulled the track off my garage door. So I'm gonna go home and fix my garage door. And then at 9 o'clock, I'm just gonna be waiting with bated breath for Facebook to tell me that I'm acceptable now and I can play on their platform that's dwindling by the day with people getting tired of the whole thing. So I just thank you, Facebook, for treating me like a real human, and I'm so sorry I was so bad to put up that picture of Hunter Biden and you called it sexual exploitation, and I didn't